and like there's a floating coronavirus ball, and he punches it, and that's how he fights the coronavirus.
I honestly wouldn't mind watching that because I feel like that would at least be more. I feel like that would at least have a lot. It would be more entertaining, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because there's more going on and the cheesiness and all that.
And it's short. It's only 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably on YouTube somewhere then. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll probably watch it sometime. Anyways, hey guys, how you doing? Mark here with John again, and we just finished watching I would say the worst kids movie ever, would you say? Or
it was it will go down in history as one of the all-time great so bad it's good or so bad it's funny movies, would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
I was excited when you picked this one, man, because I've seen this movie like 10 or 11 times. It's been a while. This was my first time seeing it in a while, but when it first came out, I showed it to all my movie friends.
And now here we are watching it. The movie we're referring to is Cool Cat Saves the Kids.
In Comic Sans.
For real, yeah. So this movie was made by Derek Savage.
He will be addressed by his official title only, Daddy Derek.
This movie was made by Daddy Derek. And I recently, so you've known about the movie ever since its existence, basically.
Definitely ever since the I Hate Everything video.
Yeah. Because that was when the big controversy happened as well with it. But,
I saw that all play out in real time, and when I Hate Everything said, this video's been copyright striked, I'm like, no, and I was like genuinely emotionally invested in it at the time.
But, yeah, like I found out about it, like I've seen like still shots of it. I've seen memes from it. I knew it existed, but I didn't really know anything about it. And then a couple months ago, well, it was like, I don't remember how long. It was a couple months ago. A YouTuber I watch, Turkey Tom, just casually out of nowhere releases a 3-hour video called "The World's Worst Kids Film Director," and it was all about Daddy Derek, and it told the story of everything he did before Cool Cat. He talked about the production of Cool Cat when he basically took the movie's basically like a bunch of shorts that he made that were based off of books that he wrote for Cool Cat, spliced together to make like an hour and 15 minutes movie, something like that.
It's basically like the Tarzan sequel, direct-to-video movie, and Atlantis sequel, Disney direct-to-video movie, because they did that a few times where it's like, we're gonna make 3 episodes of a possible TV show, and then if the TV show doesn't work out, we'll just splice them together, make a direct-to-video movie out of it. And Derek Savage kind of did that here too.
Daddy Derek did that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
addressing him just as Derek is also acceptable.
Okay, well, but yeah, and when he made the movie, it wasn't really popular until Your Movie Sucks and I Hate Everything reviewed it, and then we saw Derek's true colors, unfortunately. It's a really sad story, honestly, because he kind of had a really, despite how this movie is and despite just how oh my god it is, I can appreciate it as a movie up there, like in the so bad it's good titans like Birdemic or Troll 2. I would say The Room, but the Room in my opinion is, I think, a much better movie than this, and because of just how it's made and everything. Like
one thing The Room and Cool Cat have in common is like 90% of the movie is set in one house.
Yeah, pretty much, and even then, like, a lot of it was filmed on a soundstage. But in this, at least they were able to go outside and film it, to the point where the guy comes out, notices Cool Cat, and walks back into his house.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I feel that was a moment that made me laugh, though. Like, this movie's filled with like moments like that I can appreciate.
Yeah, this movie is embarrassing, like, and that's why it's so funny.
Yeah, it kind of like, and it's in the ballpark of. I said earlier that it's almost like a movie that you would see in the ballpark of like Neil Breen, where the creator is just so oblivious to how genuinely awful it is, but it's so bad that they're not movies that just absolutely suck and there's nothing enjoyable about it. They're enjoyable because of how bad they are.
Yeah.
And
like every single creative decision, like Cool Cat, his voice, he goes "Dole," and like every time it like brings a smile to your face because it's so dumb, and he like rubs his tummy, which looks like he's
because it looks like he's like
himself.
jerking off. Yeah. And
the acting, especially the kid actors, are so bad.
And I mean, I can at least appreciate
I
Butch
love
the Bully.
being a bully.
I can appreciate him for that, though. Like, you can tell that the actor who played Butch the Bully was having a great time.
Yeah, and he was having fun with it.
That and
my mama's gonna get me.
Which is more than I can say for Vivica Fox and what's his name?
Eric Estrada.
Yeah, like how he got them in this movie, I have no idea.
They're probably his next door neighbors.
I mean, honestly, yeah. But
like, hey Vivica, hey Eric, I see you guys walking out here. I'm filming a PSA for the kids, and I'd like y'all to be in it. That's probably how it happened. And they're like, oh, okay, it's for the kids. I was in Kill Bill, but we'll do this.
I always forget that she's in Kill Bill. Like I don't know why.
The only like good movie of hers I've ever seen.
Yeah, the thing is probably same. And yeah, and you can tell just like that they're doing it for the kids, but it's so painful that just Derek is just so unaware of how embarrassing everything is. That being said, though, I was actually having a fun time with the movie until it got to the Hollywood Holiday Parade.
Yeah, the movie is basically split up into three parts. You have the
Cool Cat stops bullying.
Primarily the bullying. There's still some later on. And then the Hollywood Parade, and then gun safety. Yeah. And then the Hollywood Parade part, that part of the movie...
It's the worst part of the movie.
That's where it tanks down to a 0 for me. It's just pointless, and
goes on for too long. It feels like a special edition like video.
Yeah.
If they like shortened it to like a 5-minute video, that would be like something you'd find on like the special features or like a behind the scene video on the YouTube channel, not in the movie. But there it was.
And there's no purpose for it other than just commercialism, which makes it even more frustrating. And then there's these two terrible music videos back to back.
Yeah, where Daddy Derek shows off his Van Halen guitar.
And he doesn't even know how to play guitar. His fingerings don't match anything. And as a guitarist, you notice these things.
Yeah, I can't really say too much about that because I know the very first music video I ever filmed for my song Wake Up back in like 2016, you can tell that my like guitaring was very off in that. And so I can't really bust on too much for it.
I haven't seen that video. Is that just an editing thing or?
I had one of the first songs I made was called Wake Up, and it was, I recorded it on my computer on GarageBand because, and I eventually like filmed the music video when I was at that time. I don't know. I know I'm not like a true perfectionist when it comes to my video work, but at that time I was especially bad. I was living over in like Southside Bethlehem. I always joke and say I was on all the drugs at that time because, well, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, and like I'm sitting there, you can tell that I'm not even touching the strings. Like I'm just going like that, and my finger. I don't even know if I'm on like the right string, but like I just personally, the only thing worth seeing is the ending, because I threw like a funny little joke in there. But either way, so I can't bust on that, but still, that doesn't excuse this movie. Because although the Van Halen guitar is cool, and he really, really wanted to show it off, what kid is going to know who Van Halen is?
Yeah, what kid's going to know who Knight Rider is and
the Tim
Miami
Burton
Vice
Batmobile,
is?
like,
yeah.
The Ghostbusters I can see because the new Ghostbusters movie came out, and
actually, this would have been made before the new Ghostbusters was released.
Yeah, so it's not. So even then, well, a kid seeing it now, maybe, but
the first trailer would have dropped like either very late 2015 or early 2016.
Well, because 2016 was when the female Ghostbusters came out, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that
I think that
maybe
was just in there for Daddy Derek. And another weird thing about this movie, speaking of Daddy Derek, is I think he really wanted to tell the gun safety part of it, because the gun safety part is the first part where they give actual good advice. Like, if you find a gun, kids, which what kid's gonna randomly find a gun somewhere? That's not something that happens every day. But if
it's not something that is impossible to happen, but it's rare.
But like, if you find one, don't touch it, and tell an adult immediately, who is probably going to wind up calling the police anyway, which is sound advice. Unlike earlier in the movie, Cool Cat feeds the trolls, and you're not supposed to feed the trolls. And later in the movie, at the very end, when they bookend everything at the patio table, he's like, if kids cyberbully you, just ignore them. Like, oh, now you're gonna tell the right advice.
Yeah.
And they get a text message, you look like a cat but you stink like a dog. And he's like, you should reply to him, if you were nice you would have more friends, and friends are cool. Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of the lessons that this movie and it's rated like for all ages. It is classified as a kids movie, but some of the advice is actually kind of harmful.
Is now a good time to talk about the explicit sex scenes, because it really should be 18 plus. Why it's for all ages, I have no idea.
What? Okay, look, on IMDb, it does actually say that there...
If you go on IMDb right now, it's going to say sex and nudity severe, frightening and intense sequences severe. I'm telling you.
Actually, no, that is true. I did notice that. I do remember that. Why did they do that? I don't know.
Because it's true, that's why.
Okay, sure. But, well, there was a porn star in this movie, so yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but yeah, he's, the police officer is played by a porn star simply because he had access to a car. Yeah. Severe. That's pretty funny, though. That is really funny.
Yes, and under frightening and intense scenes, some very graphic scenes most viewers may find disturbing. I rest my case.
Yeah, there were a lot of moments in here where the most disturbing thing, honestly, for me, was just how flirty and intimate Daddy Derek was with
Mama cat.
Mama Cat.
Come here, you fine looking kitty cat.
I actually found out that this movie was in fact rated for bestiality because of his decision for that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know like who was rated it for that, but I heard somewhere it was stated that this movie does contain bestiality because of that. And yeah, I mean, I don't think
all he does is like hug her. He doesn't even kiss her, I don't think.
Yeah, probably because with how the cool cat costume is, it probably wouldn't have worked. But I mean, it's still weird. It's definitely like it doesn't show anything explicit, but it is weird. But yeah, and like you were saying before, the gun safety part is honestly like I feel like that's what he wanted to tell, because that one actually feels I guess how loose of a term it is, that's like the best quality part in the whole movie.
Yeah,
like the quality of this movie's awful.
Yeah,
it wasn't as awful as I thought it was going to be. Like I thought it was going to be closer to Birdemic, when it's more closer to like I was saying, a talking cat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But like,
I don't even know how to rate it, honestly. Like, I really don't.
I know how to rate it.
Well, I mean, because I don't like. What would you rate it?
Because like, if we're gonna split it up into thirds again, like the first third where it's the primarily bullying part is a 1 to me because of the terrible production value, the terrible awkward like interactions all the characters have, and the bad advice they give. And then the Hollywood section,
that's a 0.
That's a 0. Like that's like the fuck this movie part of that movie. And then the gun part picks up to like a 2 for me, because there's at least some decent advice in there, and we get the epic walking down the street in slow motion shot. And
that was actually really good.
That helped picked it up for me, and also him jumping over the candy in slow motion. That was especially epic, and that helped.
Yeah, and
so that's like a 2, that part.
Okay, so first section. I mean that sounds about right. Yeah. I mean, but overall, combining that together, what would it be?
Like a 1.
Okay, yeah. I mean, see, the only thing stopping me from what's stopping me from giving it a 1 is because there is like an enjoyability to it. So I can't really say it's downright terrible. I don't think it's like the worst thing ever made.
Yeah,
I've definitely seen worse than this.
I do not think this is like the worst thing ever made. There's certainly stuff I've seen that's worse than this. It's just my bar for a 1 is a little higher than yours.
Yeah, so I if anything would probably give it like, I would probably say like a 2. Because at least it has some enjoyability.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what all movies I put at. I'm like, I guess I know one movie I know I gave a 1 out of 10 on IMDb was The Last Airbender, because that movie like offended me.
Well, that's like for totally different reasons.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, no, like I can't. I'm trying to think of a movie in this ballpark that I gave a 1, and I can't think of any. So I mean, I probably like
Velocipaster.
What did I think I gave that a 3 or a 4, but either way, that movie's yeah.
I can always go on your IMDb and see what you rated a 1.
This will be fun.
Let's see here. Where are you?
You have me saved as a tab?
I have a bunch of tabs saved with many things.
I see.
And also, I think you texted me the link a while ago, so I'd be able to find it no matter what.
That's fair, but
Okay, sort by rated 1 star. Cuties, haven't seen. Pass Through, the Neil Breen movie.
that is his worst movie. I'm sorry. That one is hard. Okay. So yeah, Pass Through I think is, I would say Cool Cat's better than Pass Through. Like, I would say that.
Cool as Ice, starring Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
You gave Jack and Jill a 1, which I gave a 3.
I hate that movie.
Oh, okay. In defense of Jack and Jill, this is going to turn into a mini Jack and Jill review right now. Similar to when we talked about the prequels, I liked Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, better than The Phantom Menace because Christopher Lee was in it, and I love Christopher Lee, and even if the movie's not great, he automatically makes it better just by being in it. And this movie, Al Pacino plays basically a fictionalized version of himself, and just the fact that he's in it and he plays along with it, it's not one of his all-time great performances or anything, but just the fact that he's there, his mere presence automatically makes it better. And I'm like, okay, he's doing this dumb Adam Sandler movie. It's not as bad as That's My Boy or Anger Management or like any of it, what I consider Sandler's.
Didn't mind Anger Management all that much. Like, I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was horrible. I definitely enjoyed it more than That's My Boy and I Pronounce You Chuck and Larry and Jack and Jill. But yeah, I don't know what else. Either way. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I guess be sure to like and subscribe, all that stuff. Anything you gotta add for that, or
I know I can think of something because I know you always edit this part out in the little window after it shows our scores.
yeah.
Sponsorships.
This was sponsored by Cool Cat. I don't know.
Oh,
He might actually flag us for that.
today. Well, we hope you no, wait, I gotta think of a segue for a good sponsorship.
Oh, no.
No, wait. Well, and what I will say though, one thing I really like about Cool Cat is how high energy he is. And you know why he's so high energy? Because today's video is brought to you by G Fuel. No, it's not. We're not. We're nowhere near popular enough to get sponsors on this.
Okay. Perfect.
Dude, you know another thing I really liked about this movie, Cool Cat has really good, well manicured fur. And you know why? And no, it's not because he's a cat and he grooms himself. It's because this video is sponsored by Manscaped. And
I'm done. Okay. I'll see you guys in the next one.